Welcome in on this Thursday night. We got a lot to cover from Charlotte to home.
The Dan Yorke State of Mind program is brought to you in part by Lookout Rhode Island and Takeo Comfort Solutions.
I had a fascinating conversation yesterday on the air about the kind of protest that's the most effective when it comes to the black community. And I hate to make it exclusive to that, but obviously we just have to be able to draw some lines when it comes to the controversies in Tulsa and Charlotte. And these aren't just controversies, these are loss of life stories. And you just can't run through them nonchalantly, but I don't have that time to wax poetic. We're also going to talk about the 75th anniversary of the Civil Air Patrol tonight, so let's get to it. Thank you for tuning in. You missed the 7:30 show tonight, but thankfully so many of you watch at Fox Providence at midnight. Pats football, of course. Let's move over here to the rundown. I just wanted to touch base on a couple local issues before we get going here. The city of East Providence is in a tizzy. Headline: the East Providence city manager was fired. He is Richard Kirby, and he wasn't happy about it.
Unfortunately, people don't want to do the right thing, and when they're called on it, they take retaliation against you.
So, Mr. Kirby, who I know marginally well, he's a character, but he's a pretty decent guy. He's been on the State Ethics Commission. You know, he took over, kind of was recruited into the job of East Providence city manager, and seemingly was doing a pretty good job until he got into this tizzy with the president of the city council, Mr. Rose, who doubles as mayor. First thing you ought to learn in East Providence from this story is fix your government, restructure the whole doggone thing. Second thing we ought to learn is what the heck happened here. I mean, when you get these personnel and personal battles that go on back and forth, the taxpayers, the voters, the constituents are kind of left holding the bag, not really knowing what's going on, even though you might have a 2.5 hour meeting that they had last night where they're yelling at each other. Here's what we ought to do to solve this whole thing. Kirby, Rose, come here. Come here. We'll fix it right here. Resolve the whole matter. We'll get back to you. In the meantime, this guy would love to have here because he is, woohoo, holy moly. Opening statements for Dan Doyles' embezzlement trial underway. I don't know how he worms his way out of this one. Watch.
The potential witness list in the embezzlement trial of Dan Doyle full of high-power Rhode Islanders, including philanthropist Alan Sean Feinstein, who donated tens of thousands to Doyle's Institute for International Sport for a building that was ultimately never finished. At the time, Feinstein said he stopped payment because the Institute failed to enforce certain athlete community service requirements.
The funds that we had expended were charitable funds to help people, to encourage young people to do what the Institute had promised they would do, and they were not being met.
Prosecutors say Doyle took over $1 million from the struggling nonprofit.
While it was in debt, this defendant was paying himself 2 salaries, bonuses, benefits.
Every penny that the state is talking about is accounted for in the books of the Institute, on the tax returns of the Institute. It's all in plain sight.
Prosecutors also allege Doyle improperly used Institute funds to pay for his daughter's college education. The Institute had long been supported by taxpayer-funded grants, as well as by high-powered Rhode Islanders, including Rhode Island politicians.
You know, I think you can probably be transparent and cocky and do things illegally. So the defense that, hey, listen, all the paperwork was available to see how much he allegedly stole. Okay, I get that. Listen, everybody's innocent until proven guilty, but this guy has been a character all the way through, calling press conferences, talking about his last breath. He's going to prove himself innocent. This is one of those trials you may want to go visit for entertainment purposes. There'll be a lot of high-profile folks like Alan Hausenfeld and former Democratic Party chair Bill Lynch and a slew of others, as you saw on the list. It's going to be a full Rhode Island, if you can define that. Back to North Carolina, there's a state of emergency after last night's tough thing to watch. I will tell you, though, you know, when it comes to the average riot, and I'm being facetious, there weren't that many people in the city of Charlotte carrying on. Obviously, their behavior versus the volume is more important. The Charlotte mayor is getting into this whole thing, wanting to see the police footage of the shooting. Let me give you the latest, and then we're going to talk about it here.
Protest spiraled into violence for the second straight night in Charlotte. Vandals smashed windows and looted businesses. One person in the crowd was shot. He is now in critical condition. Police used tear gas and used flash grenades as officers tried to clear the streets. At least 4 officers were also hurt.
We made a total of 44 arrests. Charges range from failure to disperse, to assault, to breaking and entering.
The violence prompted several major companies here in downtown Charlotte, including Bank of America and Wells Fargo, to tell their employees to stay home for the day and avoid the area. The unrest follows the deadly police shooting Tuesday of 43-year-old Keith Lamont Scott. Police say Scott had a gun, but witnesses say he was holding a book.
He had his hands up and the book fell off his lap.
CBS affiliate WBTV obtained a picture they say may show a gun near the victim's feet. Officials haven't released police video of the shooting.
While it's an active investigation, we don't want to release pieces of evidence that don't make a full picture.
But protesters are demanding it be released to help put to rest the controversy that's turned the city upside down.
You know, I'm not sure I want to cover the play-by-play, but yesterday on the radio, I welcomed back our friend Divine here, who's working on a project of economy for the African American community. I called him in on the radio show. I don't want to talk about you. Let me talk to you. Good to see you, man. I called you yesterday, and I asked you to come here this evening to talk about more effective means of protest. Now, I'm not going to put thoughts in your head. You tell me a couple short answers to some short questions. Do you think this is an effective means of protest or community outcry?
I don't think violence or destroying property is ever an effective means. I think it's something that will get awareness and attention, and that's really what the black community wants. They want attention.
Wait a second, is that doublespeak?
In what sense?
Not effective, but it gets attention.
It gets attention, and that's why I think it's done. People that have been dealing with racial issues and prejudice and racism for a long time.
So do you condone what happened in Charlotte?
No, I don't condone what happened at all in any way. But I think that it gets the attention on a national scale, and sometimes that's what's needed to really get into these issues.
Well, a massive amount of people, praying in a vigil would get national attention as well.
Yeah, but it's not as I guess not as loud. You might
well,
hear
I
it,
can't
but
argue that.
It's loud.
I'm just trying to get a feel for whether or not, even though you don't condone it, there seems to be you have some empathy for it.
I understand it. I have an understanding of what's going on in the black communities, what we're faced with nationally with police officers, law enforcement. It's nothing new, and I think that black people venting in this way it's a natural reaction.
The more constructive conversation, in my mind, though, is alternative ways to really affect the change that I know you're trying to affect. You're working on this project called, BLAK.
BLAK Card, yeah.
Black without the C. And in fact, this is a debit card prototype. I don't think I'm going to be able to see it, but it looks just like any kind of bank card. I don't know. Can you this way? This way? Which one? That one. There you go. I don't care which camera you use. Just whatever. Are you going to take a shot of it? No? Okay. Anyway, it's a debit card. And the theme of your, do I call it an organization or project? What is it?
It's a company.
Black Group is your shirt.
Yeah.
BLAK, Building, Leverage, Acquiring Knowledge.
Absolutely. It's a process.
And, your life story, which we need to bring you back for, which is phenomenal. I mean, you used to be a little bit of a troublemaker, correct?
I was a big troublemaker, yeah,
right.
in a little state.
And you've turned your life around, and you're now working on trying to affect economic change, prosperity within the black community, correct?
Absolutely. We're beginning there, yes.
You and I had a conversation about the most effective way to gain power, political strength, and change. And it really is through the money.
Absolutely. Economics.
Give me 2 minutes on that.
I mean, basically, if you look at somebody who comes from an affluent family, is born into an affluent family, has money, is able to get the best education, go to the best colleges, Ivy League schools, and then get the best jobs, the best salaries, and then have influence and affluence, and are able to affect politics wherever they are. I mean, it goes hand in hand. They're able to live in the best neighborhoods. They don't get harassed by police. They're not seen as a threat to society. And these type of things is all based on their financial standing, their socioeconomic position in life. And we feel that African Americans in totality have over $1 trillion spending power. but why is their financial condition or their economic condition so poor? That's a problem, and that's a pain point that I'm trying to solve. And the BLAK Card is not only for African Americans. We're beginning there because out of all the groups of people in the U.S., African Americans are in the worst financial and economic condition relative to their spending power.
Your project specifically aside, the concept, I think, is a great one, which is, look, money is power, and effective use of assets is an execution of power. Do you think here in Rhode Island that we have enough economic cash flow, so to speak, within the African American community to create an identity if it's better managed? Not yet, right?
Not yet, no. Rhode Island's long overdue. I was born in Rhode Island. I really don't engage much out here in Rhode Island. I'm usually in New York City or I'm out in San Francisco, Silicon Valley. That's where my life has taken me. But I think being now that I've been recently voicing my opinions about what I feel is going on in Rhode Island and the nation concerning African Americans, specifically African American males that are being executed on a daily basis. I think that the financial economic power message here for Rhode Island is very strong, and it's long overdue.
The protesters in Charlotte, the protesters anywhere, while they're revved up, aren't thinking about long term, they're thinking about today, because that's the nature of the human being.
Right.
What's your message to those who are kicking in windows and screaming bloody murder about injustice in a way that maybe isn't exactly productive?
Well, don't let your emotions rob you from using your intellect. It's a bigger narrative here. It's a longer view, and you know we've seen in the past you could be peacefully protesting and still get murdered by the government. So you know this is what it is. So we need to figure out a better way on a higher level to really affect change.
Come back, we'll talk some more about this, all right?
Thank you.
I appreciate that. Hey, the Civil Air Patrol is celebrating 75 years, and we'll hear some stories and tell you all about it when we come back. Stay with us. Reports are there's a renewed interest in flying. Well, I've always been interested in flying safely, calmly, in a nice, comfortable seat. Anyway, the 75th anniversary of the Civil Air Patrol is being celebrated. Here's a little bit of telling you about it.
Now, you've heard of the Civil Air Patrol, of course. The Civil Air Patrol, the CAP, Vigilant Civilian Volunteers.
With the largest fleet of single-engine planes at their disposal, these patriotic patrols are now playing a key role in protecting the homeland.
The point is, World War II could have turned out a lot differently if not for the men and women of the Civil Air Patrol.
60,000 volunteers across the country who man the Civil Air Patrol's missions and performing 85% of all inland search and rescue operations.
We save lives and we save resources. We are the experienced and we are the future. For 75 years, we have volunteered to serve our communities, our states, and our nation as the auxiliary of the United States Air Force. We will continue to do so with honor. We are the Civil Air Patrol.
There's an answer that I think probably a lot of people are looking for there at the end if they're not completely aware, that this is an arm of the Air Force, right, Lieutenant?
Yes, that is correct. We are the official auxiliary of the United States Air Force.
First Lieutenant Robert Gubala is my guest. You're going to meet a couple of young cadets in the next segment. Do you think you got enough community understanding and recognition of what the Civil Air Patrol does?
No, unfortunately we do not, and that's why we're here today. We're known as the Air Force's best kept secret. So we're out there today trying to let everyone know what the Civil Air Patrol is and
are you the equivalent of other organizations for the other branches? Are there comparable?
Well, I'm not too sure exactly what the Sea Cadets do with the Navy and the Marines. I think they're more geared toward grooming them for spots within
officer positions.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Here with the Civil Air Patrol, it's more than that. It's about education. It's about if you do choose to pursue a military career, you can do so. But I mean, this is more about, just rounding everyone out as an individual.
So you don't have to enter the military.
Oh,
you
no,
don't
there's
have
no
to enter
military
the U.S.
commitment.
Air Force in order to be
not at all.
involved with the Civil Air Patrol.
Not at all.
You have to have an aeronautics interest, though, it seems to me.
For the cadets, yes, but again, we do much more than that. I mean, we do search and rescue. We train to FEMA standards, so there's a lot of different things that we do that aren't. If you were to choose not to do aeronautics, I mean, there's plenty of other opportunities available.
So tell me, give me an example of something that's happened here in the region or in Rhode Island that says, aha, that was a Civil Air Patrol. We did that.
Recently, I would say there's nothing in particular at this time, although we do, for historic floods, we were up doing the aerial reconnaissance and photograph missions.
Okay.
We also work with Rhode Island Emergency Management and the Federal Emergency Management Agency doing a lot of aerial photography. We were actually monitoring routes and stuff for the Bristol 4th of July parade.
You got some open houses coming up, correct?
Yes, as a matter of fact, we've got one, the last one is going to be on the 29th of September. We've already had the others, so the one is going to be at the Guildhall in Peacedale.
Okay.
But anytime anyone wants to join, they can give us a call, 267-3130, or of course they can always visit our website at cap.com.
We'll have that on Fox Providence. We always back up the information on foxprovidence.com. Where
yeah, it's actually, I'm sorry, Dennis, gocivilairpatrol.com.
Yeah, go Civil Air Patrol. Good, Ged. I mean, when you're live on TV, it's sometimes hard to pull it off. And it's the 75th anniversary coming up. Tell me a little bit about that.
75 years of performing missions for America. 6 days prior to the attack on Pearl Harbor, a group of about 150,000 concerned patriots and visionaries saw the need to develop our Air Force. Hence, they petitioned their members of Congress, and on December 1st, 1941, the Civil Air Patrol was born. Since that day, we've been performing missions for America.
All right. Well, it's nice to meet you. Can I meet the new cadets?
Yes, you most certainly can.
All right. You'll meet a couple of young guys in this group when we come back. Stay with us. A little bit more of that the video of aerospace education when it comes to the Civil Air Patrol. You know, we love meeting young people on this broadcast. I know you do as well, and especially productive ones. It's important. Cadet Colonel Chase Boni, Cumberland guy. Cadet Master Sergeant Ethan Rock, Cumberland guy. Senior at Cumberland High School.
Yep.
Second year at Northeastern. All right, enjoying it up there?
Yeah, it's good.
Behaving yourself in Boston?
I try.
Yeah, you know, I'm sure. You guys are involved. Tell me why you're involved in the Civil Air Patrol.
So I joined Civil Air Patrol when I was 14, so it's been about 5 years now at this point, and I had joined because I had originally had interest in joining the military. You know, some things happened down the road where I ended up having some medical issues and not being able to join the military, but I stayed involved with Civil Air Patrol because it's a way that people who, you know, maybe can't actually join the military but still want to serve their country have an avenue to do so, and I found it very fulfilling in that regard.
What's your major at Northeastern?
Computer science.
All right, cool. So is there synergy? Compatibility?
Yes, there's a job in Civil Air Patrol for everyone, essentially. So like what I do in Civil Air Patrol is I'm a public affairs officer and I'm a recruiting and retention officer. So I kind of translate my computer science skills into building the website and managing our presence on social media, trying to get new members through those avenues.
Yeah, well, you know what? The difference between you and the average computer geek is that you're really well spoken.
Thank you.
The average computer, so good for you. And you're going to the military, correct?
Yes.
You're enlisting in the Army.
Yes.
We thank you in advance for your service.
Thank
what
you.
was your decision and why?
I don't know. I mean, I joined Civil Air Patrol, and it grew a lot of my leadership skills, and brought me closer to a lot of things that ended up pushing me toward the military, and I just chose the Army.
What happened in high school that all of a sudden you decided to join this group?
Yeah, I joined as a freshman, so it was basically right as I was entering into high school, and I was looking for some kind of, volunteer organization that I could join, because I really like volunteering and volunteer organizations, and so I decided, I found Civil Air Patrol, and I joined that, and I quickly became a member, and I've been a member since then.
What do your peers say about your involvement in the Civil Air Patrol? Kids, the kids you hang out with, the kids you've grown up with, the kids you go to school with.
We tend to find that it's when people first find out that, you know, we're in Civil Air Patrol, it's kind of hard to explain exactly what it is. You know, people either think we're like full-blown military, or that we're like the Boy Scouts, or we're some like thing in between, and it's hard to explain, you know, what CAP is and what we do. And that's why, you know, I think it's important that we get the word out to the community about who we really are and what opportunities and what missions CAP does.
So when you say that, what do you say? The billboard answer to the short question, who are you really, is?
Right. So, well, the official statement is obviously that we're the volunteer auxiliary of the United States Air Force. But what that really boils down to is that we assist the Air Force in carrying out some of their missions domestically. So, for example, Civil Air Patrol provides about 85% of inland search and rescue in America. We also do aerial photography of natural disasters, like Lieutenant Gubala was talking about earlier. We do things like at the Rhode Island Air Show, we help out with like crowd control and stuff like that. So we're really just there to help the Air Force in whatever way possible, as well as all the stuff with, you know, building leadership in the cadet program.
Do you fly?
So Civil Air Patrol members have the opportunity to fly. We're always looking for pilots. So if you have that skill, we would be more than happy to have you as a pilot in the Civil Air Patrol. Cadets are provided with orientation flights, so they would go up with one of our pilots and kind of, you know, be shown around a little bit about how aviation works and stuff like that. But as Lieutenant Gubala mentioned earlier, there are a whole slew of aviation and non-aviation missions.
Are you flying?
I am not flying.
You're not flying. You gonna fly? You're going to the Army. You're gonna stay on the ground.
Well, I
boots on the ground.
Yeah, as a drone operator.
Oh, okay. That's pretty high tech.
Yeah, Civil Air Patrol kind of pushed me
drone
toward
thing
that.
blows my mind. If you were going to tell somebody what the benefits of being involved in the Civil Air Patrol are, you would say?
I think the biggest thing for me and for anybody that chooses to go down the NCO path is that you get a lot of good leadership opportunities, and obviously our communities and our country is in need of leaders, and I think it's just it helps you just in general, and you know, anything you do, whether it's school related or just taking charge of any group you're in, it gives you a lot of good leadership tools. Leading the cadets and then making them into good leaders as you leave, definitely it leaves a mark on yourself and helps you to build your leadership ability.
Did you come up with all that yourself? Yeah, that's part of the process, right? That's what you've learned.
Yeah.
But that's what your instinct was, to find this kind of good feeling about yourself and what you're going to do. And this has done it for you. And the Army will. You ready for basic training?
Kind of. I have a little while. I have until the end of my senior year.
All right.
So
Got to get in shape, man. Good luck.
Yeah, thanks.
Again, thanks for serving. You're doing a great job. Last word on Civil Air Patrol for everybody out there. Join us.
Yeah, exactly. You know, we have, as I said, opportunities for everyone, and you know, no matter what your interest is, aviation, search and rescue, anything, look into us, see if we have something that could fit your needs.
Good. All the info is on foxprovidence.com. Guys, thank you so much. Final word, and we come back. Big show tomorrow night. Don't you love it when you see young people who've got their act together? There's more than you fear sometimes. Chill. Coming up tomorrow night, some real expertise on this terrorism thing and the new brand that we seem to be dealing with. It's not all that we actually think it is. Explanation tomorrow night. See you on the radio at 3, too, on WPRO. Good night.